Hi, I'm Michaela from Learn Polymer Clay, and I want to show you some easy clay inspiration for your summer inspired polymer clay designs. In this short tutorial I want to show you how to make a focal with a Faux Verdigris Patina. And we are going to attach a metal seahorse element to add more interest to the piece. And in order to make this focal, I've used a beautiful texture plate, beautiful silicone stamp that I received from Global Land. And I invite you to check their website. You will find the link in the description for the product that I'm using for the texture stamp. And I really encourage you to take a look at their website, and I can tell you that they have wonderful texture silicone stamps that are great for polymer clay. I'm working with green polymer clay that I previously conditioned and that I passed on the largest setting of my pasta machine, and I intend to use this beautiful retro swirl texture to texture the back and the front of the piece with the silicone stamps. It is true that the pattern on the back it gets very vague, it gets very subtle, but I like this subtle texture on the back of the pieces. And then I've just used a square cutter, um, and I cut out the shape that I wanted from polymer clay, because this cutter is in fact a cookie cutter and is not very sharp. It doesn't have sharp edges. I had to use the flexible blade to make neat edges for the piece. And then I'm going to use a petal shaped cutter to cut out a space in the middle of the piece. And of course, as always, when using cutters, you'll have to use your tools to smooth off the edges, to smooth off the area around the negative space in the middle of the piece. And then if you intend to add an element of focus, interest, to enhance your design, you'll have to check if you have the right area, if it fits, if your elements of design fits this negative space in the center of the piece. So as I said, I'm going to add a seahorse metal component. And then I wanted to enhance the beauty of this retro swirl texture, and I've decided to use some gold mica powder to add more interest to the piece and more definition to the textured area. I'm adding mica powder on the sides of the pendant as well. And also on the interior part of the pendant. And then you'll just have to bake your piece for 40 minutes in the preheated oven. I bake my pieces on parchment paper because I textured the back, so I'm not going to bake this piece again. I only bake this some of my pieces once, if this is possible. You will have to let the clay cool down, and then I decided to protect the mica powder and add a slightly glossy effect to the pendant. So I'm going to add some glossy varnish using a brush. If you don't want a glossy effect for your piece, you could use matte varnish, but anyway, it is recommended to protect the mica powder. Next, I'm going to attach the seahorse element, and I don't really want to drill a hole in this piece. I would prefer to make a bail using wire, but of course you could poke a hole. So I'm going to use a small round cutter to make a bail for the pendant. So I used the shape of the round cutter to make a loop. Then I'm going to use the round nose pliers and uh, make a spiraling design on one side. And I'm going to use the loose end of the wire to wrap it around the spiral, the spiraling eye jump ring. Of course, you'll have to use flash cutters to trim off the excess wire, and flat nose pliers to tack in the end of the wire. So this bail will allow me to attach the pendant to a chain or to a beaded to a string of beads. And then I used a jump ring to attach the seahorse to the bail, and attach your pendant to a string of beads like I did. And of course, you can tweak this idea, and you could make smaller elements, and you could use these elements to make rings. So this is the finished pendant, and I encourage you again to check Global Land website, and I'm sure you will find very beautiful texture plates that are working great with polymer clay. Thank you for watching this short tutorial, and stay tuned for more inspiration for your work with polymer clay.